And Russia on the brink of all-out war, and it sounds like from the United States side that they're ramping up this rhetoric instead of trying to tamp it down. What do you make of these words coming out of Moscow over the past 24 hours?
All right, let's get started. Where are we? Hi, there we are. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to the final show before the Christmas holidays. That's right. It's Christmas Eve. Eve. It's double Eve. It's like Magoo, but with Christmas. Make America great over and over. It's just how we operate. Hi everybody. Hi chat room. Gather around. Let me see if I can pull up that crowd in here and say hi to you directly. Man, are the maggots mad today? Phew. It's impressive. It's the passing. Obviously there's been a lot of egg on Trump's face this year, not the least of which is his kind of embarrassing NFT nonsense and his just kind of hammering on about 2020 and nobody giving a crap and all these news stories about basically that his campaign launch was a dud and he's basically been locked up in Mar-a-Lago for a month. But thank you, Al Spear. Merry Christmas. And thank you guys for your support and your love this year. It's been great, and thank you, and give a thumbs up if you like the show and you want it to continue and all that stuff. And obviously, the passing of the CHIPS Act, the passing of the infrastructure bill, the getting out of Afghanistan, it's been stack after stack of stuff that Trump could have done for all practical purposes. He would have had the votes in the House and the Senate to do all of this stuff, but he either didn't think of it or refused to do it simply because it would be bipartisan and that stinks to him or something. It's just weird. But yeah, so Trump is the same guy who accused Biden of like running a campaign from his basement is basically hiding out in his weird little golf resort place. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think the panic is just going to continue and get worse. And especially now that he's discovered, if I may, where is it? Here it is. He's discovered posting videos from Mar-a-Lago. So the last video he posted, which we saw on his Rumble account, he's doing these little 3-minute videos. He's basically trying to eat into Don Jr.'s Coke money, I think. But he's posting these videos and they're jamming them out. They're doing like, he just stands there and rambles and then they cut them for him or whatever. And then they're just going to just to get some content out there, just to make it look like there's a campaign actually happening. He's got to make these kind of regular statements. I don't know. Anyways, he's basically just discovered this as a pastime. This is how they're keeping Grandpa busy. Other than, I might add, the weird, like, him, it's seemingly high as a kite at Mar-a-Lago. Ron Filipowski posted this video. Let's see. There we go. Of Trump at Mar-a-Lago, like dancing to, like pounding on the table at Mar-a-Lago. Ew. Where is this? To YMCA. Yeah, here it is. Just doing his straight up like, and he looks like he's trying real hard. Watch him smack the table. Like he's doing that like teeth grinding thing. Whatever the mixture was today, it had extra green Sudafed in it. It's weird. But anyways, and I won't play it because it's YMCA and it's playing in the background. It's just odd to look at. Anyways, so he's been cranking out these videos intermittently, but they're getting, he's double fisting it and doing the herky jerky, the lane dance while sitting, by the way. Like I said, his next stop is a Steven Seagal movie. But this is because his taxes are coming out right after Christmas. And the January 6th report came out. It's just pantsing him in front of the entire world. He's freaking out about his taxes finally being made available to people. And so he wants, this is President Trump, former President Trump, is calling on Congress to immediately obtain the financial records of Joe Biden and his corrupt cronies. I got news for you, dum-dum. he produced his taxes. He's done it multiple times. Dude was vice president. They've been through this. But yeah, you have to understand, he has to his own followers, the idea is that everybody cheats. It's all a big cheat fest. And so if I cheat, it's because I'm smart, because it's a cheaty system. And I'm just I'm crazy like a fox. That's the thing that he'll sell to the MAGAts. But let's see what his argument is. And by the way, for the record, everything that's on the phony laptop, the hard drive named laptop, is available on the internet now. All of it. Every document, the entirety of the hard drive. And you don't think they haven't combed through all of it? What is there a smoking gun site where they finally, in all those documents, they did just a quick search through the documents for big guy and just, you know what I mean? There's nothing. If there was a there, this is months ago. This shit has been in the wind for 2 years. And then the entire contents have been available on the internet since earlier this year, when somebody posted it as a smokescreen for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Where is it? Here's something, which is funny. This guy, he's asking for Congress to get the records or whatever. He's got a staff at Mar-a-Lago. You're a billionaire. Hire 35 people to vet the entire mess. Go for it, asshole. Do it. I'm tired of debunking this stuff like piecemeal. Give me something where I can just slam the lid on it once and for all. Okay, here we go. And by the way, thank you, and thank you for watching. And yeah, this is his little silent Hitler opening. Oh, sorry, audio's turned off.
Before stepping into the political...
Wait a minute. Now I'm not hearing it, but you guys are. The heck?
...political arena to save our country, I spent my entire life building a truly great company. Over the years, I've employed thousands...
This thing's... Making it play? That's hilarious. Hold on. Okay. Get back to these. Change to this. Then go back to these.
And thousands of...
Nope, hold on. My headphones are being weird. If I had to... There we go. I'm going to back this up. Pardon me. Hi. It's a holiday weekend. See if this shows.
Before...
Okay. It's going to be weird. All right, so I have to, let's see, pull some other... I have to do this. I'm going to go hardwired. Wish me luck. These guys have been acting weird for a couple of days, and I'm not quite sure why, but what are you going to do? There we go. Wavelength. There we go. And headphones. There we go. So hopefully...
Stepping into...
There we go. Now I can hear him. Okay, good. Now I just have to fix the mix to more that side of things because I don't need to hear that much of my own voice. And here we go. Hey, look, we're going analog. It's old school. Welcome back to the show. So here we go. Backing him up, and then we'll all hear him together because it's so worth the wait. It's so worth the wait. Let me see. That's turned up all the way. Okay, good.
Before stepping into the political arena to save our country...
Now, don't mind my cough. It's a tickle. You have to maintain the myth. This is maintain the hero myth.
I spent my entire life building a truly great company.
No, you spent your entire life living off the tit of your dad's company, and then when he died, you turned it into a branding endeavor.
Over the years, I've employed thousands and thousands
of undocumented immigrants.
Of people. I built towering skyscrapers.
No, you didn't. Other people did, and you slapped your name on it.
Standing tall above the greatest cities of the planet.
The planet. He had a moment where he realized that New York no longer can stand him, and he doesn't like any of the other cities that he's got Trump buildings in, like Vegas or Chicago. And momentarily people might go, "Are you building something in like Dubai right now?"
And from New York to Miami, from Los Angeles to Chicago, from Ireland to Scotland.
All the way?
And from Dubai to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
All the way to the Las Vegas Strip. I have created magnificent properties in some of the most spectacular locations
where people are starting to pry his name off the front of them.
On earth. In short, I have achieved the American dream beyond all imagination.
No, I think a lot of people have better imaginations than 6 gaudy buildings. I mean, Bill Gates should have stopped where he was? You think Bezos is just like, well, that's the best you can come up with is 6 gaudy buildings and 2 golf courses.
Most politicians only know how to kill jobs.
Oh, yeah? You mean like, technically you're a politician now and you lost money on a casino, which is like a fucking magic trick in and of itself.
I have actually created them, but by the thousands.
But by the thousands.
While others use public office to enrich themselves.
Which I tried to do, but I failed at just like my casino. Fuck!
I left an amazing life behind to go and fight for the American people.
You were a game show host, asshat, and you were gonna get canceled.
And I'm glad I did it. It hasn't been easy.
Boo fuckity hoo.
But I'm glad I did it. Sadly and pathetically.
Is that the name of your new biography?
For the past 6 years, the radical Democrats and the fake news media have been trying to deceive the public about these simple facts.
Oh, the simple fact that you're a super businessman? Oh, I see. They tried to, by what? Showing people your actual business? All right.
Now, in an outrageous abuse of power,
boo fuckity who?
The radical Democrat Congress illegally
Yeah, you're right. He got new teeth. I think we're all on board with he got new teeth.
Obtained and leaked my personal tax returns, which show only that I've had tremendous success. It's been an amazing period of time.
Period of time.
The seizure of these confidential records was completely unconstitutional. There is no legitimate legislative purpose for their action.
Their action?
And if you look at what they've done, it's so sad for our country.
Is it? Because all the other presidents and other candidates that run just show their taxes. You don't think the sad thing is that, you know, you're the only person since it became the norm to actively lie to hide your taxes? You don't think that would be the sad part? Nah, I guess not. I mean, it's pretty sad for him. I can understand it's sad for him because it definitely pops the dirigible myth that he's an actual billionaire.
Nothing but another deranged political witch hunt, which has been going on from the day I came down the escalator in Trump Tower. Although these
and I've never gone back.
Tax returns contain relatively little information and
yes, that's true. They tend to hide a lot of things.
Not information that almost anybody would understand.
Yes, you're too stupid to get this. And if you look at it and you think I lost money because it says I lost money, that's because you're a big dum-dum.
They're extremely complex.
Yes, they are. They're very complex, as most financial crimes are. You know, Bernie Madoff's stuff was very complex. You know what was very complex as well? Credit default swaps.
The radical Democrats' behavior is a shame upon the U.S. Congress.
Why?
This precedent must now be applied to the corrupt Democrats themselves.
They already show their taxes, stupid.
The new Republican House should immediately obtain the financial records of Joe Biden and his entire criminal enterprise.
Well, and I guess they've already got them because they don't exist.
Because that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Biden is a corrupt politician who spent years selling out America all over the world.
To China, who we're now, we're literally decimating their technological future because they stole from us for the first time ever. Shit he could have done, shit he said he was going to do, never did.
Including to communist China.
Right.
Just
Yes, that's right. Hunter Biden took $1.5 billion from the Chinese so that his dad could get into power and destroy any hope of high-tech future for them, the entire country, for at least the next 3 decades.
take a look at his accounts, take a look at all of his homes,
All of his, both of them.
and take a look at what his son Hunter has contributed to the family.
Well, I mean, there's a mixture, you know. Love, I mean, you can't put a price tag on that. But he's also definitely, with his addiction, has made it difficult at times for the entire family. As family members of addicts know well. If they give a shit. You obviously have addicts in your family. You didn't give a rat fuck. So,
The American public deserves to know the truth.
The truth.
We should also
Yes, they do. That's why you should show your fucking taxes without having to, like, fight for 7 years to keep them out of the public eye.
get to the bottom line on how Biden, on a salary of a U.S. senator, was able to buy one mansion after another.
One mansion after the other, which is, one is a house he's had forever that he bought for like $60,000 or some shit, and they sold for $1.2 million after they'd had it for 2 decades or 3 decades. And it's from his book, fucko. It's on his taxes. You can see the book company gave the money to them from the sales of the book, and the money from the sales of the book bought the house. The fuck are you talking about?
All these different locations.
What? Yeah, name one, dummy. Where in the fuck does Donald Trump think Joe Biden actually lives?
When I'm president, we
You were president, dummy, and you didn't do shit.
will expose the Washington cartel.
Cartel. It's adorable. You know, makes it sound like everybody in DC's Mexican, which is very scary.
And we will make America great again.
That's it. That's the whole thing. That's his entire defense. Whew. And he's going to keep cranking these things out. It's the Don Jr. business model. Just you crank these things out, and by the way, they're doing gangbusters. Look at the numbers on these videos. 3,000 rumbles, 22,000 views. Holy shit. Look out, Rusty Trombone. Somebody's eating your lunch over there on Rumble. That's it. The dude announced his candidacy, like, what has it been, a month and a half now? And his videos get 22K. That's it. And he posts them on Truth Social. So technically speaking, if you watch them there, it should give them a view count at Rumble. If it works anything like YouTube, which I think it does. Woof. Yeah, that's and by the way, I mean like father, like son. Yeah. And this is they worked this now, obviously Don Jr.'s the son. He's the namesake, but he's not getting anywhere near these numbers that his dad is getting. Look at this. 2,000 views, 527 rumbles. And that's on one where he's shit-talking Mitch McConnell and Ukraine. That should be a double whammy. I don't know how are you not printing money out of this thing? I'm surprised it's not just cash flying out of his computer screen right into his face as he does this stupid fucking thing. So he's got 1 million subscribers. Totally a real number. 1.606 million. We'll round him up. 1.1. Subscribers on there, yet 22,000 views. Huh. Do they automatically make you subscribe to his channel when you join Rumble? Do I have to check my fucking account? Is that how it works? Yeah, I don't know where Don Jr.'s shoulders went at all. That's a good question. Somebody in the chat just asked. So, good to see you. Oh, look at that. Yay. Don't forget, if you're on Twitch, please subscribe. We always forget, or gift subs or whatever to keep our numbers up. We're trying to, we're well low. Like, the tank is, it's sad. But I'm working on it. We're growing organically here. I'm not saying that all of his subscribers on Rumble are bought. I'm implying it. All right, so this is a big complaint about, I suppose, the omnibus package and Zelenskyy coming to speak to the Senate, which was great and irritating all the right people.
Well, guys, huge news. Well, guys, I'm so fucked up right now. News for Republicans.
Is he turning into Cartman?
Huge, one would say, with a capital Y.
One would say it was his dad. And also, what's happening? What's with the little wings?
According to Mitch McConnell,
and this head cold that I have, which is really not a head cold. Okay, it's like I have a space holder in my hard palate because of a coke hole.
Ukraine is the number one priority of Republicans, not gas prices.
Well, not anymore. I mean, they're going down. Obviously, it was a priority for the Democrats, and
not like 7%, probably more. Inflation.
Yeah, just make it higher. Just do it. By the way, notice how it was like 8-9% in July, August, and it's ticking down. It's got to be difficult. Is it like, I don't know, how is it watching their talking points? It's like watching a plant you forgot to water and it just dies, and you're like, fuck, man, I forgot to water the talking point, and it's all dead. This was expensive, too. I can keep the pot, I guess.
Not the spikes in violent crime that are destroying our formerly great cities.
The spikes of the crime that are formerly great, where you can't walk down the street without being hit with a baseball bat.
Not even the 20,000 or so illegals per day crossing the southern border. Definitely not the fentanyl scourge.
Scourge. Fuck me.
That is crushing everyone equally.
Is it? Is it? So everybody's just, so whether you use fentanyl or not, whether or not, yeah, you're being crushed by it. I don't know if you know this, but you should probably give yourself a shot of Narcan if you're watching this video right now.
Right? Whether young, old, rich, poor, none of that. You know, the southern border, all the stuff, the human trafficking, that's not our number one priority. But the Ukraine is.
It's Ukraine is a country. It's called Ukraine. Calling it the Ukraine is a dog whistle to let people know that you're on Russia's side. Just thought I'd point that out.
That's weird.
No, you are. You're a very strange man. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what the fuck this is about.
That's weird.
This is weird. You're weird. This is weird. We're all feeling, it's weird, man. We're all in a weird space.
And it's news to me, folks.
And most things are.
I had no idea that was Republicans' number one priority. I mean, I'm out there a lot.
Yes, you're most of the time I see you, you're out there.
I go all over the country.
Do you? Yeah, well, I mean, not everywhere, obviously. They don't have endangered species you can blow away.
I speak to Republican groups everywhere, and
yeah, and no one else. I understand.
I don't know that a single one of them has actually told me that's our number one priority.
I'm sure, could it be that you only speak to MAGAt groups that are pro-Russia specifically, that you are self-selecting out anyone who would disagree with what you think about these things, or the rooms that you're in are that you've got people around you, or the people you're hanging with self-select all the. Nah, I guess not. Probably not.
In fact, many of them can't believe we're blowing $130 billion. Just so we're clear,
we're not.
$130 billion, approximately, right? With
approximately
the new $45 billion that they've just given is literally more money in 1 year than the combined amount of military aid to Afghanistan from 1946 to 2019.
But I thought we left $85 billion worth of the best gear ever behind in 1 year. Wait, I'm sorry, because the Obama administration destroyed something in the order of $27 billion worth of vehicles and ammunition and all kinds of other stuff when we were initially going to leave in, I think, 2014. And then they did it again a year later. They pulverized a bunch of other shit. So how can the budget for all of that time be so incredibly low if we left behind $85 billion of the finest gear and it was all fresh in the package and it was still had the instructions?
Just for a little perspective, okay?
Just for a little perspective. By the way, if you want a little perspective on Afghanistan, the Russians have lost 10 times as many people in the Ukraine war as they lost in the 10 years they were in Afghanistan.
Okay? So when Mitch McConnell tells us it's the #1 priority, nothing that actually affects you at home.
Let me guess, did he say it's their #1 foreign priority or some shit? Now, I don't know what the direct quote is, and I don't give a fuck because it's Mitch McConnell. And for the record, honestly, aren't we both just enjoying watching this? Come on. He's attacking Mitch McConnell. Again. Awesome. This is just, watching them just bite each other's ankles. It's just, it warms the cockles of my heart, if I can say cockles without getting demonetized.
Nothing that helps
Fuck me.
hurts your wallet, affects your child's future, their education. No. The #1
Their ability to travel to Russia, to Europe without having to learn Russian.
priority is Ukraine. And that's weird. Again, I've traveled the world. I have yet to meet a single Republican whose #1 priority that is. I have not met one.
Hold on. Okay. Can I find the fucking quote that he's talking about since this dipshit isn't putting it? McConnell, Ukraine, #1 priority. Let's see. There you go. Mitch McConnell says funding Ukraine is #1 priority for most Republicans. As inflation soars, Biden administration is giving Ukraine tens of billions of dollars. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So this is from the right and the want the people to vote, represent close the border, stop inflation, blah, but Senate majority then says okay, blah, blah, blah. And they even quote Don Jr. in this one. Does he here? Well, let's see if is this the video where he says it? It says funding.
Making sure the Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China, providing assistance for the Ukrainians to defeat the Russians. That's the #1 priority for the United States.
Okay. All right. Whole quote. Fuck you. The entire quote. What's the entire quote? Listen to this again. What's he saying? Being able to make sure that the Defense Department can handle all the threats from Russia and China specifically, and being able to fund Ukraine in its fight against Russia.
Making sure.
Oh, by the way, they cut off the top of it even. He was in the middle of, there's probably even more context on top of this.
Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China.
Yeah, so basically he's saying passing, we didn't like the omnibus, but we want defense spending, and there's a lot of reasons for that defense spending, and all the above is, fuck me. I mean, we should have guessed, right? I mean, we should have just known that this dipshit and all of his buddies are going to isolate out the part about Ukraine and not just pretend that basically Mitch McConnell is using defense spending as an excuse to pass the rest of the omnibus bill, which they also want. All of these assholes will be standing in front of ribbons, cutting stuff that was paid for by the passing of the omnibus bill, whether it's new or old or the funding is increased. It's shit.
Providing.
Okay, sorry.
The guys.
Person. It's probably not top 5.
All right, this is just dumb. Now it's stupid. Now it's even dumber than we thought it was. This whole video is him trying to excise out one section of the quote that's already cut from the one that he looked at, apparently. It's even shrunk down beyond that to make it look, oh God.
For most Republicans around the country. But none of this should surprise us, because that...
None of this should surprise us that you are this fucking stupid, that you are literally incapable of absorbing anything that has more complexity than crayons and Coke.
Disconnect between a DC swamp creature who's just trying to get the military...
Which your dad wants to be again.
...industrial complex rich, pay back his lobbyist friends, send more missiles...
His lobbyist friends... I got news for you, asshat. There are no major defense contractors to speak of in Kentucky.
To start a nuclear war with Russia. I mean, what could go wrong, folks? Of course that's their number one priority. You know what isn't their number one priority?
Well, I got to think about this one a lot. Winning elections. I'm going to go with that. That's what it's going to be.
You.
Oh, all right. Me. Well, I don't expect them to make me a priority. They hate my guts.
The American public.
I wouldn't call myself the American. I'm a member of the American public. I mean, I am big in stature and in impact, but I'm just, I'm just like everybody else, except you, obviously. I'm not a third-generation rich kid who blazed a hole in his hard palate with cocaine, allegedly.
Your children, your livelihoods, your and their future.
Well, I mean, if you allow Russia to run roughshod over another country, and their next stop is apparently nuking Berlin, as they've said, and attacking Poland and the like, then we would roll into a greater conflict that eventually they would be in a bigger position of strength, and it would eventually affect my family. So, yeah, it does matter.
That's clearly not a priority, because it's Ukraine. And you all saw it this week with...
Y'all. Jesus, what kind of Huckabee bullshit is this? You're from New York, asshole.
The Zelenskyy photo op, okay? Remember that.
The photo op. Your dad sat down with him, too. It wasn't a photo op because both of them looked uncomfortable. It was a shit photo op.
Folks, DC isn't your friend. You don't want someone beholden...
No, Moscow is. Tell him, Don.
...beholden to DC. You don't want...
You want someone beholden to Dubai.
Someone beholden to the billionaire donor class.
Which your dad is not a part of, according to what we've seen from his taxes already.
These kind of nonsense,
These kind of nonsense. Can you tell he just ran out of fucking steam right there?
You don't want someone beholden to DC. You don't want someone beholden to the billionaire donor class.
Yeah, I think maybe at that moment he realized his dad's not a real billionaire and kind of stuck his foot in it.
These kind of nonsense, that kind of ridiculousness, that's the logic it gets you.
Right, yeah. Everybody write that down? Holy shit. That's the kind of logic it gets you if you buy from a dealer that cuts with Ajax, I think.
You're last. America is last, as always, with these clowns in charge.
Assistant.
By the way, again, without Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump has no lasting legacy at all. Literally, holding the SCOTUS seat for him, giving him 3 guaranteed seats, that was enough. That's what did it. Right, his dad cleared protesters with the military for a photo op where he held a Bible upside down. Is that your Bible? It's a Bible. Jesus. Okay, now, I may go to Gorka. Gorka is here to complain about the rhino. Gorka. We are here to complain about the rhinos that sold us out. These, yes, those senators betrayed you, Gorka.
From North Carolina, Congressman Dan Bishop, it's good to have you
Hello.
back on the show. I'm
glad to be here.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hold on, I think I have one of his constituents. I wrote for Dan Bishop. The Bishop!
Gorka, I'm glad to be with you. Thanks for the trip down memory.
Wait, might be with you? What kind of show is this? I do not approve.
Lane with that little.
All right, we'll talk about the FBI latest revelations in a few
Female body inspectors, come on now.
minutes. But first things first, I have had far too much fun in a kind of dark, dank way.
Yes, you are a dank feller.
Following your team on Twitter because you just...
Yes, you do. They love following how dank you are.
Or, you just launched your team onto the task of reading the 4,100-page abortion of...
Wow. So 12 of these senators voted for abortion. Crazy.
Of this this spending bill that has passed in the Senate moments ago. Then it's going to go to the House.
It already passed the House. Time has passed. 4 days later.
Can you just share with those who don't follow you on social media?
Yeah, I don't follow you on social media. I'm fine out here just staring at you through the bushes. Go, Bishop, go.
Some of the truly, utterly outrageous things you
Tell
and your
me.
team have found
Terrible.
in this $1.7 trillion bill.
Hideous.
I'd be glad to, Dr.
Yeah.
Gorka at risk.
Dr. Gorka, Moon River. Hey, man, I would get a second opinion.
You started off by saying it offers people some hope, and I'm afraid this segment's not going to do it. But,
well, that's what I like is people who can laugh through the hopelessness.
But my folks really worked hard. We all worked hard to get through.
Well, reading is fun, dumb, and mental.
That monstrosity. Bill clocks in at really $1.85 trillion, including the $15 billion plus of earmarks.
1.85 trillion, and there's only that many 18 billion earmark at 18. Run that by me again.
Monstrosity. Bill clocks in at really $1.85 trillion.
Trillion dollars, okay.
Including the $15 billion plus of earmarks.
15, wait a minute. 1.85 trillion and 15 billion of it are earmarks. Earmarked for what?
4,800 plus pages to read.
Well, obviously, would it be? I got a question for you. Let's say I come to you and I say, look, I need $1 billion of your money, and they say, where's it going to go? What are you going to do with it? And I'm like, I'm gonna make more money off of it. I'm gonna do some good work. Like what? I'm gonna take it and I'm going to put it in this pocket. I'm going to write a piece of paper that says it's in my pocket. Is that enough? Is that good? No, you want me to be more specific? Well, how fucking specific do you want me to be? Do you want me to be down to the tens of millions or down to the ones of millions or the hundreds of thousands? How? Because that's going to be, you take $1 billion and where are you going to put it and what you going to do with it? That's a lot of paper. So it stands to reason you got something that's over almost $2 trillion. Going to be a lot of, I'm surprised the shit isn't 9,000 pages.
And people ask if you read it all, and we sort of go through it at lightning speed to try. That's a big stack of paper.
Hi, stupid. Hey, even I know this, man. The committees and subcommittees and the budgetary committees and then all the committees that are assigned to each element of the government work out their budgetary costs and needs for the overall budget all fucking year long. And then they argue back and forth and then they present how much it's going to cost. The budget for DHS, the budget for DOJ, the budget for fucking border shit or whatever else. And they all come down there and they say, this is how much money we need. And then they take it to the budgetary committee and the budgetary committee fits it all together and says, okay, we got to shave a little bit here, a little bit there. But basically it's the committee stuff. So it's not our fault you don't listen to your own fucking committee members, man.
We've got a staff, really 5. I guess I said earlier 4 offline to you. But so it's really 5 folks and me. And, you mentioned the FBI and what they've been doing. We've got big hopes to undertake serious investigation of the FBI and DOJ. FBI just got an $11 billion budget appropriation in this mass bill, a $500 million increase, which the Biden administration didn't even request.
Let's just stop there because
they didn't have to request it, dumb fuck. It's proportional to the costs. Hey, here's a good idea. Why don't you pretend inflation isn't real?
I heard this, I was shocked. So the FBI
Yes, the FBI.
with 18 GOP senators was given more money than they even asked for from the Democrats.
No. I have to deal with this directly. So, no. They have their budget that they proposed, and then in the budgetary process, they add on a percentage based on rising costs for certain things, including vehicles, flights, all the other stuff that if any other like elements of the stuff that they use on a budgetary level, from office equipment to to transport to like hiring a volume of people for particular tasks, that increases based on the rest of the economy. That, how much stuff costs is outside what they would ask for when they present their budget at the beginning of the year, what they presume to need, because shit has changed between now and then. Oh, Shadow Woman, thank you so much. Lovely.
Massively more, plus funding for a $376 million new headquarters.
Yeah, and how are the Russians going to be able to point listening devices at that building if they build a new space that is resilient to those kind of attacks and espionage?
It boggles the mind.
That's because you're stupid. It's not because it's difficult to understand. I mean, let's be abundantly clear. This is not high math at all. This is pretty fucking basic. Hey, guess what? How much did what was your cable payment last year? And at the beginning of the year, you might sit around in January and you're like, okay, let's budget for the year, what we're going to do, as far as salary and what's coming in. And here's what our cable package costs or our internet package costs. And we'll see if we can, keep that at one point. And then somewhere around June, the cost of it goes up because of the change in the package. And you can either lower that and lower what you get, which in law enforcement wouldn't be advisable. But on a personal level, you might go, I don't need the sports channels, or I don't need these channels or whatever. But let's say you need all of them for your work. So your budget for the year that you presented is short 5%. Now extrapolate that across a myriad of different areas on an enormous organization like the FBI that does everything from stopping human trafficking and finding serial killers and stopping counterfeiters and all kinds of shit that they go after. And again, the FBI itself, for all this clamoring that they're only torturing Jan 6 people and annoying Donald Trump, that they suddenly fucking hate him. The rest of the time, they're these people go to their jobs, operate all the time, never knowing, or I would say they probably know, but they don't give a shit that had the FBI not done its job last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that, they might be killed by someone who is out on the street just murdering randos or doing whatever the fuck. But thankfully, they were taken out by the FBI years ago and incarcerated.
It boggles the mind. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. Let's talk about the FBI.
Isn't that what you were just doing? What, that they're not worth it? It's so difficult. Tell me how they're going after Donald Trump, and yet they're just letting everyone else off the hook. What is Hunter Biden laptop?
I've had
I've had Gorka.
Veterans of the Bureau. So first things first, if you don't know my background, I worked with the FBI for many years before I joined the administration.
Yes, it used to be way worse.
I trained them on things like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, thousands of officers, intelligence analysts and special agents. This is hard for me to say, but if the FBI knocked on my door today, I would tell them to pound sand and talk to my attorneys.
Me too.
Well, yeah, because you're engaged in criminality.
Oh, wow. I've had 20...
Me too, he says. Well, yeah, dude, you're one of the people, Dan Bishop, I think, is one of the people who was actually coordinating with the Stop the Steal people.
23-year FBI veterans on my show say it has to be disbanded.
Yeah, but again, hold on one second. I don't know where'd my other earpiece? There it is. I gotta put these guys in here, otherwise. Why were they let go? Because they were political, because they were pricks, because they weren't following the rules, because they were going rogue and trying to protect people like Donald Trump. That's why they're former FBI.
Can this nation, can we, when we know that they're colluding with big tech to undermine the free flow of information prior to an election, can that entity be allowed to stand, Congressman?
Well, Dr. Gorka, you know, people said abolish the FBI. You need an institution that can effectively enforce federal law.
Right.
And punish wrongdoers.
Right. Unless it's you, in which case they got to go.
But something's got to change, and I think really you have to begin to look at the appropriation. I'm not sure that entity needs $11 billion.
Well, yeah, you want to make it the funding so narrow that they don't dare go after political people, and if they ever try, they're afraid to do it because they'll lose their funding, which is exactly what you want. That's what you want is representative government manipulating law enforcement and scaring them that you'll take away their vehicles and their guns and their ability to fight crime on the regular if they dare come after you for criminality. That's not corruption at all.
The FBI alone, leave aside the DOJ, which is bigger, but. You know, and that's why it's so, the one consequential thing that we certainly can do in the House with a small Republican majority is to conduct serious investigations, to pursue them doggedly.
Knock yourself the fuck out. Nobody cares.
To find out to lay bare all of the things that they're doing in great detail. But that implies that you're doing that for a reason and that you're going to follow through. And
he's still talking about Republicans, right?
You're going to reform the agency. I think it's, you know, there are a lot of different ideas. I've articulated a few of them. I think we've got to see where it leads. But we've also
gibberish politispeak.
Got to change the status quo in Washington, because if the Senate, Mitch McConnell and 18 Republicans are going to jam us, closing the debate before it's ever been opened, where are we going to go? Americans got to be dismayed about that.
I think you should probably join the Forward Party. Good luck.
Is it lonely to be Dan Bishop? And is it going to be very lonely after January and Kevin McCarthy becomes the speaker? What's it like to actually care about these things on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, because Gorka wouldn't know.
I will tell you, Dr. Gorka, candidly, that I am disheartened about how many of the Republicans are inclined to continue along with the status quo exactly as it is.
Yeah.
I know folks hearing that are desperate because they've all been trying to pay attention, trying to come out and vote for people, and they listen to a lot of people talk a lot of conservative rhetoric, but man, it's just not playing out up here. And
yeah, well, it's a swamp, you know what I mean? And luckily you had somebody like Trump come in and he drained the swamp, and that wasn't, oh no?
I will tell you that I weigh very carefully. You said when Kevin McCarthy becomes Speaker on the 3rd of January, I haven't decided what I'm going to do. And it's a small majority, and he's going to have to get the votes if he's going to be Speaker.
Ooh.
But
shots fired.
There's going to have to be a change in which we say we're not going to just let the status quo continue. And the status quo is very resilient.
Listen to this man. His hesitance in his voice is very interesting, because that means he's not slick. He's not pat. He's not lying to you. And he's serious about he's still thinking about. No,
he's just aware he's out on a fucking like free-floating chunk of ice on his lonesome. That is also the voice of insecurity. That is also the voice of being in an ideological minority that you know yourself doesn't make sense.
What he's going to do on January 6th. He's Rep Dan Bishop on Twitter. He's also J Dan Bishop on Twitter. The website is danbishop.house.gov. To the point you just made, I had a retired lady just call in who say...
Just a retired lady. Totally real.
Hello, I am retired lady from Ohio. My name is Sylvia, and I am not at all Russian living in Macedonia. And I wish they not pass Omnibus and got the all military immediately.
in the last election, she gave as much as she could to 8 GOP candidates. And after today's vote, she feels betrayed. What do you say to those people?
Sorry, I get excited whenever their people turn on them because they're either, dipshits or just don't like normalcy.
Wow.
So, how do you even talk her down, this imaginary woman who called the show maybe? Maybe she didn't.
Asked me earlier, Dr. Gorka, what is in the mind of the senators, and I don't talk to senators a lot. They're sort of the House of Lords. I mean, I have occasion to once in a while. There are people.
Well, they just don't return your phone calls. Let's be honest.
We do more of it. Chip Roy talks to Mike Lee a lot.
Really shocked.
I actually asked Jim Jordan this on the floor just a little bit ago. What do these?
Where is your jacket? And did you notice somebody was trying to fiddle with that dude with those? Yeah, I think that guy's a kid fucker. Why aren't you even looking? I'm pointing. Why aren't you even looking? Is it a reflex of yours? I was saying that to Jim Jordan the other day.
What are these guys thinking? What is in their head that they think this is acceptable? The only thing, he didn't give this direct answer. Somebody else suggested that they think, well, the House has got these rambunctious folks and it's a small majority and they think there's going to be hard to do business over
small minority
here. So they're just doing this because they're not sure they don't want to have the government shut down. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That would be also a betrayal because.
No, it wouldn't. Because a small minority who's vocal deciding to shut down the entire U.S. fucking government because they even amongst Republicans, they can't be the motivating voice in a group. Somehow they believe they deserve more control over the process than they have fucking earned.
Because the people elected this majority in the House is very precious. They ought to make sure that let's get to the task and make things work out. But to take...
Oh yeah? Like what? Pop up a bill. What are you going to do? We're going to investigate the FBI. Cool. What else? Hunter Biden laptop. Yeah? I mean, I guess Biden's already taken the lead pipes out of the country, so you don't have to do that. Infrastructure's handled. Rural broadband's good. That we passed a budget. So what's the hard work? The fuck does the House have to do now? What? Honestly, I'm sure there's rudimentary stuff that has to be done, but this is most of the big ticket items. As far as non-policy driven things that would fundamentally alter things like adding a single payer system to the ACA or those kind of things. Anything shy of that has already been fucking done.
The easy way out of jamming $1.8 trillion on the people and blowing up more federal spending, drive more inflation, do damage. They got DEI provisions all over this 4,800 page document. Every Democrat priority has been acceded to. Well,
we did win, and there was no red wave. And if it wasn't for you guys, gerrymandering a couple of districts with a dude who, by the way, can we look at this dude? Hold on one second. This is my favorite new. Where would it probably be the best? I guess we'll try as far as stories where it's available. The dude who won Republican House member, new freshman House member, totally lying about his background. Ran as an openly gay. Here you go. This is George Santos. This guy. So George Santos ran as an openly gay Republican, sort of bragging about never experienced any discrimination in the Republican Party. It's a big tent. It's an open party and yada, yada. Turns out he was married to a woman until he started running. Shortly after making history, the first openly gay non-incumbent Republican elected to Congress. Publication found nothing to support his claims that he graduated from Brooke College or attended New York University, worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, founded a charity called Friends of Pets, lost 4 employees in the June 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting, that his Nazi grandparents escaped the Holocaust, that he lives at a registered address in New York City, and that his mother was in the World Trade Center during the September 11th terrorist attacks. Documents obtained by the Daily Beast also suggest he may have been married to a woman until 2019, even though he had previously told USA Today that he had never experienced problems over his gay sexual orientation for the last decade. Initially, his lawyer blasted the Times report saying a shotgun blast of attacks were attempting to smear his good name with these defamatory allegations. It's just true, though. I mean, they're either true or they aren't. I mean, you either went to a college or you didn't. It's not even about, like, what a good student you were. George Santos represents the kind of progress the left is so threatened by, a gay Latino, first-generation American, and Republican who won a Biden district in overwhelming fashion by showing everyday voters there's a better option than the broken promises and failed policies of the Democratic Party, his lawyer's statement said. To the people of New York 3, I have my story to tell, and it will be told next week. I want to assure everyone that I will address your questions, and I will remain committed to delivering what I ran on: public safety, inflation, education, and more. Happy holidays to all. The Republicans are floating the idea that this guy is going to be sworn in, allowed to vote on Kevin McCarthy, to vote for Kevin McCarthy as Speaker, and then they're going to ask him to resign. Yeah. Was his wife named Jenny? Is everything at once?
And so that lady who's given her precious hard-earned money, all the American people, as hard as they've worked, they're going to have to double down, and they're going to have to throw out Republican elected officials.
All right, don't threaten me with a good time. This is awesome. This is gorgeous.
Who betrayed them?
Which is everybody except this asshole, I suppose.
It's really that simple.
It is simple. In deference to Golka.
They're going to have to follow it, and they're going to have to follow through.
Huh?
All right. You have given me hope that there are at least people like you on Capitol Hill. After you've made your decision on January the 3rd, can we have a longer discussion here on America First with you, Congressman?
Oh, so he hasn't decided whether he's going to vote for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker? So what's the holdup? Why can't you commit? What's going to change? Is the dude going to be a different person in the next week and a half?
It's always a pleasure, Dr. Gorka. You're
That's okay. So he is a lying politician.
one of the best fighters, and you've pointed the way. And
what?
And there are more. And courage begets courage. I'm counting on that. We're going to make it happen, and I'd love to talk to you about.
Make what happen? You don't even. Courage begets courage, motherfucker. You don't even know if you're going to vote for Kevin McCarthy yet. He's not new.
Whatever the outcome is when we get to that.
All right.
Whatever my vote is when it happens, it's an organic thing. You know what I mean? But I vote for Speaker like I vote, like I sneeze. It just comes up, and then if you hold it, it'll blow your brains out. It's this.
Courage does beget courage.
Oh God, shut up! All right, that's the end of that. You're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. By the way, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays to everybody. I'm so glad you're spending this little bit of time with me. I'm going to take the day off tomorrow because it's Christmas Eve and family's here. So I will be doing a best of on the radio show. But like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you feel like supporting the show on our days off. Please do. Venmo's a great way to do it. You can subscribe, and that's free. And just do that. Okay. All right. Now, I'm good on time right now. Okay. So let's do something Christmas themed before I pull something that it will make me angry, because I have a clip in the wings that might just make me pissed. I might just get pissed, honestly. So, but sometimes we just need a big dose of stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Frank Speech's The 12 months of cover-ups. A Christmas tale full of hilarity and Christmas joy, where Mike Pillow and all of his ilk have decided to, sum up their entire argument about Dominion and voting machines and yada yada into a cute, Christmassy little message that will not at all be convoluted and insane. Oh, fuck you. What is there, a dog running around in the background? Whose hands are those?
On the first month of
Oh no.
cover-ups, a big bad wolf gave me
A big bad wolf gave me.
a voting system that poops on Georgia law.
A voting system that poops on Georgia law. It's starting very well. Rocky Mountain Mike, you might have Job security, I think, actually, now that I think of it.
I'm the second month of cover-ups the big bad wolf gave me. 2 million lost ballot images.
What the hell? First of all, what are these weird little demon voices? And why is she on a toilet? You do realize that, like, Trump tore up notes and from meetings and tried to flush them away illegally. Fuck, this is awful.
And a voting system that poops on Georgia.
Oh, it was a cat. The bell was a cat, obviously. A black cat, by the way, which is interesting choice.
On the 3rd month of cover-ups the big bad wolf gave me. 300 unsafe drop boxes.
300 unsafe drop boxes. What are they, rusty?
2 million lost ballot images.
And a voting system that poops on Georgia law.
What are you horrified? What did you think the toilet was going to look like? Did it?
The 4th month of cover-ups the big bad wolf gave me.
4 fired whistleblowers.
4 fired whistleblowers. Like who?
300 unsafe drop boxes. 2 million lost ballot images.
And a voting system that poops on Georgia law.
Oh, God, this is intolerable. I apologize. Oh, God. Help us. I might need backup.
The 5th month of cover-ups the big bad wolf gave me.
5,000 duplicate scans. And why are those people in the same why are they both standing in the same pair of overalls? What they vote is that a couple maggots that voted twice? Wait a minute. Did they just say 4 and then say 5,000? Hold on, back the fuck up real quick. Oh boy. What? I'm like, I don't even think they tried.
4 fired whistleblowers.
4 fired whistleblowers. They just put the wrong thing on the screen.
Unsafe drop boxes. 2 million lost ballot images.
And a voting system that poops on Georgia law.
So there were just no second takes on any of this recording at all.
And 6 months of cover-ups the big bad wolf gave
Why are they wearing sunscreen on their nose? It's fucking freezing in Florida right now.
me.
60% audit error rate.
60% audit error rate. Oh, dear God. I don't know what you're talking about. I think this is magic. This is genius. Nothing's put me in bigger Christmas spirit than this. But, 4 fire whistleblowers, 3 ladies with a headless thing, and someone looking in the toilet, and a gun with a shooter near the jump. Flute.
7 months.
7 months. Gave you 70 counties trashed their election files, which they're legally required to do like 90 days after or 6 months later if there's a recount after everything, and it's been 2 fucking years. Fuck it, Christmas. Blah, 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 blah. 70 more trashing the 2 people in overalls. I like that dog. Was that me? Okay.
4
fired whistleblowers.
300 unsafe drop boxes.
300 unsafe drop boxes with 2 Wiccan ladies standing next to a bareheaded thing. What kind of witch shit is this?
2 million lost ballot
And a voting system that poops on Georgia law.
Is he just bored at this point? Dude is fucking yawning in the middle of his bit.
On the 8th month of cover-ups the big bad wolf gave me. 850 false tallied Biden votes.
850 false tallied Biden votes. Wait a minute. After the recount, they found 800 votes that were unfairly kicked out for Biden. He actually gained votes. Is that what they're talking? I don't even know what the fuck. Why are these people so angry? Wait, whose fucking legs are that on the... Is one of the elves gonna hang themselves? This is terrible.
4 or 5 whistleblowers.
They just made them say it like a dozen times. Nice quality video editing, though. I think that's impressive. I don't know. People who can use computers just astound me.
300 unsaved drop boxes.
Oh, at least they're dancing now. That's not a... Is that some sort of Wiccan stance? Why are you looking in a baby coffin, you weirdo? Don't tickle the bells on somebody else's tree. My daddy told me that once. Only 3 more months. Fuck, man, I might chew my own foot off at this point.
A 9-page jumped up court brief.
Hold on. A 9-page jumped up court brief? They just stopped putting shit on the screen. Well, hold on. Back the fuck up. Quit it.
A 9-page jumped up court brief.
Yeah, that was what he said. A 9-page jumped up court brief. Really? That's just filth.
5,000 duplicate stamps. 4 or 5 whistleblowers.
300 unsaved drop boxes.
Why is there a mustache on the piano? And why is this guy... I'm creeped out.
And nobody incessant that poops on Georgia line.
Lindell TV is magic. I'm just telling you right now. This is quality programming. You are not going to get this kind of stuff on the mainstream media at all. It is only the availability of independent voices that are not censored by social media and big tech and big Democrats and stuff that gives you this kind of stuff. Are they drunk now?
$10 million wasted annually.
$10 million wasted annually. At least I think it said annually.
Jumped up. 850 false tally Biden votes. Extraction their election votes. 60% on air right.
Man, I'd have bet. Can you imagine? We're going to have a party. Come on over to the house. We're going to shoot a music video. Bring your holiday costumes.
4 or 5 whistleblowers.
300 unsaved drop boxes.
Jesus Christ, the spell is getting even more drastic. I'm scared to death. Their heads are moving like... Do they share an eyeball? What's happening? Wait a minute. Did they put a laugh track on the elf feet being caught in the piano so that it look... Shit. Somebody's going to need to check this fucker's crawl space by the time this thing is done. It is a laugh track. Okay. See, I thought it was organically funny, but I was... Just 2 more. Shit. Why'd the Indian lady die? Why'd they make the black guy do like a rap style and everybody else? Never mind. That's not how you limbo at all. That's cheating. I don't even know what's happening there. Attack and kill, Rex.
4 or 5 whistleblowers.
300 unsaved drop boxes.
And the voting system that poops on Georgia law.
On the 12th month.
Thank God we're almost at the end. Oh, I'm proud of you. You hung in there. It's painful, but we did it. I don't know. This last one may wipe us out.
The big bad wolf gave me 12 months of cover-up.
12 months of cover-ups. That's it. I don't know why I was expecting something smarter than. Never mind. Hopefully they'll rush through the rest of these things.
10 million bucks wasted annually.
See, and I was worried that their argument wouldn't be cogent and understandable.
4 fire whistleblowers.
300 unsafe drop boxes.
Oh, they did it by Zoom. That's why the delays and everything was overlapped all wrong and sounded weird, because they did it on Zoom and there's a delay. Well, obviously, somebody deserves to get union status for that. That's, by the way, that's available. That's one of the graphics that's available built inside of iMovie, which means they used an Apple product to make this, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is big tech. Oh my God. Is he laughing? One second. He's down there with a laptop playing a clip of it. Voting.org, voterga.org/donate.
Wow.
So good. That was amazing. That's so, and you did that with just like, just members of your Heaven's Gate cult? Is that who came over? Jesus.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Solid. That was good.
Well, the journalists might be writing about that, Garland.
You are leading the way.
No, they aren't. By the way, that's the end of it. The journalists might be writing about that, Garland. Cut. That was it. That's the end of the video. No one is going to. The journalists are not writing about this. As a matter of fact, I might be the only person covering this. I apologize. I owe you guys an apology. It's a new Christmas classic. Yeah. It goes right up there with... It is sonically, I would say, it is as friendly to the ears as the sound of Rudolph's nose. That noise that Rudolph's nose may. I don't know why they couldn't come up with something better, but Rudolph's nose sounds like shit. By the way, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. This is the current state of affairs in the Republican Party. I'm not kidding. These folks are a fucking mess. By the way, and when I say mess, I mean it. If you want to see like how like low the bar is these days, Clayton Morris from Redacted has on Scott Ritter, and I'm not going to do this whole clip because I don't need to, and I want to show you a slice of it right now. This is not anything like where I can be accused of taking anything out of context, so I kind of don't care, and nobody. Like, you're not going to learn anything from this. This is just propaganda. But listen to the state of this argument. And the title of this is, "Oh shit, Putin warns of direct clash with U.S. NATO readies forces on Redacted with Clayton Morris." Okay, which, by the way, his wife is on, but somehow never gets credit. Listen to Scott Ritter's take on this. Listen to, this is amazing to me.
But first, I want to start with what we're hearing from Russia.
Yes, of course, because obviously the most trusted source.
From Moscow, that the United States policies have put the U.S. and Russia on the brink of all-out war. And it sounds like from the United States side that they're ramping up this rhetoric instead of trying to tamp it down. What do you make of the...
And by the way, Russia ramping up the rhetoric by saying we're getting this close to being at war with you guys in particular. We're not fighting. We don't have troops on the ground there. But they're like, we're going to pick a fight with you. But it's up to us to tamp down Russia's rhetoric.
These words coming out of Moscow over the past 24 hours.
By the way, for you those that don't know, Scott Ritter was one of the, I think, IAEA inspectors and spent a good deal of time in Russia. And since the time he spent in Russia, has been a total Moscow sycophant. Like the sun shines out of Vladimir Putin's ass to this guy. And in all honesty, I don't know if it was if they dose you and hold your eyes open and make you watch propaganda films to make you think this way, or that he was just teed up that direction and they just, promised him an exit strategy and that was that. But it's amazing.
Well, I mean, we have to understand where.
And by the way, I got to this clip because it was on his Telegram channel. And then I'm going to show you something right after he says what he says. Just keep in mind, listen to what he says about how the war is going to go, and then I want to show you what he wrote on his I guess he didn't write it. He forwarded something on his Telegram channel.
The United States is coming from first. We're losing in Ukraine.
Okay, so we're losing in Ukraine.
We have doubled down. We've taken the mortgage, the kids' college fund, and everything, and we've placed it on a losing bet.
No. The United States, with its $26 trillion economy, the biggest economy in the world, is not using the kids' college fund for $100 billion worth of funding, especially when it's in the terms of a lend-lease or money that we will get back from either seizing Russian assets or Russia itself at some point down the line. No. The United States is not going into hawk over $48 billion. It's not happening.
We're going to lose.
No, we're not.
Ukraine will be defeated, and decisively. NATO will be humiliated, and the United States will be left holding the broken pieces.
By the way, he's been saying this since he was one of the people who said this war would last like 6 days and Kiev is going to fall and da-da-da.
This is a reality.
It's not even close to reality.
Now, what does America do for that? There's going to be a lot of rhetoric, of course, designed to shape a narrative. There's hope that somehow Russia can be persuaded to seek a diplomatic solution, an off-ramp to this conflict. And so rather than moderating their approach, rather than,
by the way, a diplomatic solution would involve moderating an approach at some point, one would think, but never mind.
Adopting the language of...
By the way, this is Clayton Morris putting a video later of Putin and showed you when they actually liked each other and they're, hanging and he's outside and it looks all sunny and shit like this, and fucking Putin hasn't basically left the building except to go to China in 7 months.
Compromise. The United States is being very aggressive. The most recent aggressive move is the decision to provide Ukraine with Patriot surface-to-air missile batteries. But when you think about it, the first Patriot isn't going to show up on the battlefield for months.
No, month.
This war is going to be over by then.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This war is going to be over by then because Russia's going to win so decisively.
It's a meaningless gesture, and the United States knows it's a meaningless gesture. Mm-hmm. You'd have to train up an extraordinarily large number of Ukrainian forces. Each battery takes 90 men on the complexities of a system that doesn't work. Let's just be clear about the Patriot system. It doesn't work. It didn't work in the Gulf War, didn't shoot down any of Iraq's Scuds. It shot down more Allied aircraft during...
yeah, God knows we haven't updated this system since then. They just left it where it was. It hasn't improved. Computer technology hasn't improved since then either.
Operation Iraqi Freedom, then Iraqi missiles, and it was unable to protect Saudi Arabia's Aramco oil fields from the Houthi drone attacks a couple years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't do that. There's other machines for that. These are specific.
The system...
But never mind. I'm pretending this is a real fucking argument. Wait till I show you. This is...
has an abysmal combat record. Even if it did work...
It does.
It could not be incorporated into the Ukrainian air defense network, which is a Soviet-era network right now being sort of patchworked with Western systems that are incompatible. There's no unified command and control, etc.
Yes, there is.
So the Patriot will go in.
And by the way, if that's the case, then the Ukrainians have been kicking Russia's ass with a patchwork system of Soviet and Western stuff that has no command structure. That's even worse.
It won't work. It will be destroyed. Ukrainians will die. This is the outcome. But from the Russian perspective, it's just one more example of the United States upping the ante. And you know, from
that's, by the way, it's nice that they have a version of Russia that's orange. It makes it so bright, kind of autumny.
The Russian point of view is, you know, to what end? Why is the United States keep doubling down on stupid, doubling down on failure?
Doubling down on stupid, doubling down on failure. This is after, by the way, this video isn't from fucking, I don't know, mid-March or some shit where you could have this fantasy idea that it's not working. This is after the fall of Kharkiv. This is after the fall of Kherson. This is after the Kerch Bridge.
At some point in time, you know, if you keep doing this, the trajectory leads to the inevitability of a conflict, military on military contact between Russia and the United States, Russia and NATO. So I think Russia...
By the way, what are we looking at? Russian vehicles doing donuts in the dirt?
Is doing its due diligence by calling the Americans out on this, saying this is a very dangerous...
Okay, due diligence isn't about language. It's about study.
Dangerous direction that you're headed on. You might want to think twice about continuing down this path.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like what Russia says to fucking everybody all the time.
Zelenskyy and his whole regime sat down with The Economist magazine, which is, you know, laughable.
Sure. They're obviously mainstream.
The Economist magazine, laughable
Yeah, so we laugh at The Economist. It's one of the most hilarious publications out there.
in and of itself.
Yeah, just the existence of it is hilarious.
So
is there even an economy? I don't know.
So they get unbelievable access.
Unbelievable. I guess, but at the same, but tell you what, tell us that Zelenskyy will talk to anybody, and then tell us that they don't. All right.
In this interview, to me.
By the way, this video has 482,000 views that we're watching right now.
I mean, when I just...
Now, I don't know how many of them are real.
Sort of reading the tea leaves on this, you don't get access like this unless it's coordinated from somewhere.
Yeah, if they're going to have to call somebody and say, can we have an interview? And then that person's going to go, let me check. And then they're going to coordinate with the person that you want to interview. And then they're going to say, yeah, I'm available or I'm not available. And then they will coordinate when a good time would be. And then you're going to get them together. Or you can coordinate a situation where an attempted coordination can happen for an interview and then the interview never happens. But the coordinating efforts actually exist as well.
Right. When you see this type of an interview happen, I've been around the news business a long time to...
Yeah, until he fled the country because he stole money from investors.
No.
He was on Fox and Friends. Get the fuck out of here.
When something like this happens, there's some coordination that's unfolded, right?
Yes, it requires a couple of phone calls to set up interviews.
There's something, just like that Forbes or whatever it was, the Vogue photo shoot with Zelenskyy and his...
Yeah, you have to hire a photographer. There's a lot of coordinating going on.
And his wife. So just your take on this. I mean, basically, it seemed like a big PR move, this Economist interview, but there were some really interesting nuggets that came out of this interview. What was your take on this?
Now this is the moment where we figure out if he actually read it or not.
Well, first of all, the silence of Zelenskyy. He was present, but he wasn't a factor. The star of the interview was General Zelenskyy, the head of the Ukrainian armed forces.
And, oh, you mean the part where it says an interview with General Valery Zelenskyy, head of Ukraine's armed forces? Really? So in the interview with the head of the armed forces, the primary interviewee was the head of the armed forces. This is fucking weird. I don't understand media at all.
He was the centerpiece of this interview.
Yes, the interview of him. Yes, that tends to be how interviews work. Which
speaks volumes about the precarious situation that Zelenskyy finds himself in today. You know, he's always been an artificial construct. He is not the Churchillian figure that the media has portrayed him to be.
Yeah, asshat. He didn't really have a choice. Churchillian.
He's an empty suit. And now,
he doesn't wear a suit. At least say empty combat sweater.
Now, you know, his usefulness appears to have run its course with Ukraine facing inevitable defeat.
All right, again, listen to this.
I keep coming back to this. Ukraine is losing, has lost, will lose. It's over.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that later. Okay, now Where did I get that actual clip? Where did he post that? That was on his, on Scott Ritter's, here it is, Telegram channel, right here. This is where I found this clip. He posted this himself. Now, and he posts himself and all this kind of shit and these little videos and whatever and yada yada. Scroll back a little ways, and there is he does these little bullshit sit down things when he's by himself. These little 2-minute catch up things. And I like, it's just goofy. But he posted earlier today, or like, I don't know how long ago it was. Maybe it was like 48 hours ago. This message, this is one where he wants to pick a fight with Lindsey Graham. He wants to box Lindsey Graham. Hold on. Maybe it's further down on this nonsense. But yeah, it is. There he is. He wants to, Scott Ritter challenges Lindsey Graham to a boxing debate. I don't know what the fuck boxing debate means. He wants to punch him because Lindsey Graham is saying fuck Russia and that's enough. Okay, so here, he forwards this. This is from a site from this guy Zrada, who is pro-Russian. All of his stuff is like pro-Russian. He's just mad they're losing. He's upset that the uppers and around Putin and stuff are fucking up this bad. So this guy writes, he posts this entire thing, and this other guy writes a summary of it. And this is a summary. Summary. A hell of a fuck is waiting for us ahead in the winter. There will be no significant chances to hold the current front line. The enemy is well aware of this. The enemy is the Ukrainians in this. Concentrating his forces where it is convenient and profitable for him. There is no progress on any of the points, the provision of which determines the success of the defense. Only regression, moreover, systematically encouraged. And especially, the fuck up will become obvious when the snow falls and the entire movement, including all our artillery, will be in full view of the enemy UAVs. And everyone is silent about it again. And then when the cities and regions will be surrendered again, everyone will be like, oh, how did this become possible? How are we were so hoping for Surovikin. He is so severe and brutal. Why did he fail? And Surovikin himself will be at a loss, because even if you're at least 3 times the most fucking motivated, the most important field marshal, you are powerless to do anything if you have an army of wankers in your subordination, in which the gaps in stupidity start somewhere at the level of lieutenant colonels, go down and not up. I'll repeat it again, better understand, damn it. This level of military incompetence simply does not exist. This is where he thinks it's on purpose. There's a huge, massive betrayal, systematic preparation for a completely hellish massacre during the next Ukrainian offensive. The command of the Russian army leaves it no chance for success. And I'm not going to say that word. From anyone, from among the experts and military correspondents who cover up and glorify this, suck the positive aspects out of this, bear their share of responsibility for all the future fuck-ups. I'm fucking shocked. I'm in the dark, bitch, shock. And I'm not whining or complaining now when Kokos, which is what they call the Ukrainians, break through the front. I will get my machine gun from under the castle, put on my armor, and go and try to kill someone before I die. And they will kill me, and I, damn it, will not see all the further shame in connection with which we can say I will be fine. Almost awesome. And you will all live in this fucked up place, and you will all be asking each other when Russia will be decolonized. How did this happen? How did it come? And that's how, damn it, exactly like this. You close your eyes, you close them, you wanted something positive, get it, damn it. You jerked off to Saint 1913, we'll get it. And then 1916 and 1917, it has been talked about 100 times. This is like World War I and how powerful the Soviets were and all that. In this winter, we managed to hold something somewhere, and the probability of this still remains. Then this will be possible only contrary to the command of the RF Armed Forces. Crowds of volunteers are now working day and night to maximize the chance of this holding the ground. Winning the war as a whole, in spite of, is a very non-standard task. Much more difficult than anything obtaining regular delays in Berlin, defeated at the terrible cost of a lot of blood of the men at the front. Who fucking knows how to solve it? I haven't figured it out yet. And that's just a summary of this dude that he forwarded. That's on Ritter's channel. Okay? That's like maybe a day and a half ago. And this dumbass has been cranking out these little videos basically going, Russia's going to win. Russia's totally going to win.
What's up with Belarus? In short order, Russian President Putin, accompanied by his Minister of Defense, Shoigu, and his Minister of Foreign Affairs,
Yeah, so he does these little updates, and he just that's about him going to Belarus and how Belarus isn't going to join in. That piece of information I just showed you is at least a couple of days before he hops on with fucking with what's his name? Where is he? Clayton Morris, and does this video, and this is horrifying. This Scott Ritter and friends talking about Zelensky's trip is just one of the most. It's just idiotic. And then he's clinging to like Kissinger talking about we need to make peace. Fucking Kissinger. Henry Kissinger. The fuck out of here. So, anyways, that's the current state of like the Republicans and the right wing folks. Let's see. I thought Hal Sparks was going to be on a plane now. I've lost my mind. No, I'm home for the holidays. I'm just taking the day off tomorrow because it's Christmas Eve. Hi, everybody. Hi, chat room. I'm just going to say hi to you guys real quick. Just on the screen. Hi. Hello. Yeah. Does he go on Jimmy Dore? Yes, he does. Scott Ritter has been on Jimmy Dore as well. That's the circle. All these, and before we know it, they'll be on like, what you call it? Firebrand. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? Where is it? Yeah, here you go. Remember this asshole? So, on his Rumble show, I guess his Rumble channel, he posts this clip of him on Tucker Carlson's Matt Gaetz saying, I'm not sorry for refusing to stand and clap for Zelenskyy. And his argument is this is all North Korean. Well, first of all, in North Korea, if you don't stand, you die. The fact that he was able to sit at all proves that's not true. It's the same Jimmy Dore shit where like America sucks. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm never going to learn another language, and I'm never going to live outside the United States because it's fucking sweet here. I got $1 million plus house in the Hollywood Hills. I
assure you that Ukrainian soldiers can perfectly operate American tanks and planes themselves. Thank you for both financial packages you have already provided us with and the ones you may be willing to decide on. Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way.
By the way, I don't know why the fuck this guy is laughing. Tucker Carlson doesn't speak another language either. So it's probably just his, he's got to react this way because it assumes to his viewer that that must be absurd. This is a trigger laugh.
We're handling your money in the most responsible way. Take our word for it. Take our word for it.
Well, they are winning against the allegedly the number 2, and I think that is a good moniker for it, army in the world, and they're a much smaller country. So they're the weaponry and the money is actually being spent on the battlefield. And if it isn't, if they're kicking Russia's ass like this, and they're still able to put the money away, what? Then it's a tip. Cool. Good job.
Love, and they clap like seals. But here's the interesting thing. Almost every person in the...
Clap for Zelenskyy, clap for him now, in quotes, as if anybody fucking said that. Nobody said that.
Room clapped like a seal. So no matter what that man said, send me more money, I command you, send me more money.
Which he didn't say.
Taking care of it the most responsible ways.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between send me more money, I insist, or I command you, and I will use your money responsibly. Not that this dumbass gives a shit.
They applaud. All of them.
Right. Because this is real life. Something that Tucker Carlson has never been exposed to.
Almost like they have to.
No, they don't. As a matter of fact, Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert didn't, and nothing happened to them. They just got called assholes, because they are.
Now, there are 435 members of the House of Representatives, and they're Republicans and Democrats. And famously, they don't get along and they don't agree on anything.
No, they agree on a lot of things, actually.
They can't even pass a budget because they disagree on...
They just passed a budget.
Everything.
They just passed a budget.
Very bitterly.
No, I mean, obviously, the Matt Gaetz crowd is pissed that a budget was passed at all because it's actual legislation, actual work. And that's something they're not interested in.
And yet, when a foreign leader shows up in cargo pants to tell them lies and give them orders,
neither of which happened,
they all applaud. That's pretty weird behavior in a democracy if you think about it. The fractious debate we hear so much about doesn't exist.
What about the majority of the people in Matt Gaetz's district who actually supporting the Ukrainians in the war against Russia? That's a material fact. As their representative, arguably, shouldn't he stand up and clap if he represents the majority of voices in his district? Nah, fuck that.
And in fact, looking at the screen last night, it didn't really look like a democracy, to be honest.
It looked like North Korea.
It looked like this.
Yeah, just grab anything where everybody claps in unison, and they're the same. Content doesn't matter, it's the activity that matters. If you've engaged in the activity, it doesn't matter what the ethical basis of it is. It's just linear. Yeah, I'm not seeing the whole place clapping at once. It just seems to be the people sitting behind him that are clapping.
Oh, yes, good point. Good point, sir. Oh, we're so pleased you're here.
Whoa. Try harder, dude.
Throw your foreign flag on the dais and we'll applaud more. That's honestly what it looked like last night.
No, it didn't. You have an askew version, like a view of reality, because you're a pampered rich asshole.
You gotta clap. You can get in trouble if you don't clap.
No, you don't get in trouble at all. You might be called an asshole because you are, but nothing will happen to you materially. Nothing. Which is very different from the clip you just showed.
So everyone just claps all the time.
No, they don't just clap. They actually feel that way.
Clapping is mandatory.
No, it isn't. If you had a single person who didn't do it, it wasn't mandatory.
As long as Zelensky's speaking. Now, there were a few who didn't obey.
Right, and there's where your argument dies.
That would include Matt Gaetz of Florida, Lauren Boebert of...
Yeah, well, I mean, he would have clapped if Zelenskyy had stood up there and said, some of your money is being used to transport 17-year-old girls under the influence of ecstasy across state lines. He might have been the only person that clapped.
Colorado. And when they didn't stand up and applaud, they found out the hard way what happens to people who dare not to applaud.
They get called assholes.
NBC News took off right after them.
Took off?
The headline for NBC. It's House historic.
Congressman criticized for not fawning. This is what this says. Here.
Historian Michael Beschloss declared this, quote, for any members of Congress who refuse to clap for Zelenskyy, we need to know from them exactly why.
Right. Why? What's wrong with that? Isn't an informed democracy part of the point? I mean, if they're not doing it, if they're doing something specifically to stand out as a point of protest, then shouldn't they be forthcoming about why? Especially when you're dealing with Russia, which was one of our biggest foes on the planet.
We need to know why.
You don't need to know why. We might want to know why. You don't need to know why. I think your viewers might be interested to know why, in particular, you throw yourself in front of Russia's bus all the time. But we kind of don't give a shit.
Ooh, thought crime alert. You've been reported as not applauding. Explain yourself, plebe.
Plebe? They're sitting Congress people. He's a private citizen.
And then Beschloss went on television to drive home the point. Our sources have reported you are not clapping. Watch this.
And I think the other thing I'd like to ask is the number of members.
You'd like to ask? What kind of North Korean shit is this, Michael Beschloss?
Members of Congress, almost all Republican, who did not show up tonight or who showed up and refused to clap. I'd like to know why that was for two reasons. Number one, you're a public servant. We're allowed to know those things.
Yes, plebe. How dare you? Again, does every clip Tucker Carlson play undermine his argument? Is that how that show is built?
You're supposed to tell us if you're serving in Congress what the reason was.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson doesn't think so. You have to understand, these people are in positions of power. You're a private citizen. You don't have the right to know these things. You don't even have the right to ask, according to Tucker Carlson.
Do you love Putin, or are you just opposed to democracy, or is there something else?
The other day, Lindsey Graham came out, the Republican from South Carolina.
That's supposed to make you feel like he's not a Republican, even though this dude has given Trump more taint hickeys than any other member of the Senate.
And said that
you don't feel bad, Ron Johnson. You're a close second.
He agreed with Joe Biden and Zelenskyy. The real goal is not to move Russian troops out of Ukraine back to pre-February borders. The real goal is regime change in Russia. Watch this.
How does this war end? When Russia breaks and they take Putin out, anything short of that, the war is going to continue. To ask the Ukrainians to give Russia part of their country after all this death and destruction is not going to happen. To signal a ceasefire, Russia will take the opportunity to rearm and come at them again. So
This is, by the way, Lindsey Graham's broken clock moment.
In it to win it, and the only way you're going to win it is to break the Russian military and have somebody in Russia take Putin out.
So it's really hard to overstate how crazy this is. And you don't.
By the way, he's not saying we do it. He's not saying, we send in a sniper to do it. He's saying the people around Putin who eventually come to their senses and get rid of this asshole, which, by the way, is a conversation that happens all around Tucker Carlson at Fox News headquarters all the fucking time. He's just against it.
You don't want to play shrink and wonder about, what emptiness at the core of Lindsey Graham's personal life causes him to identify so strongly with a country he's not a citizen of.
Well, then why wouldn't you ask Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert why they feel so strongly to identify with the Russian desire in this particular war? Why do they identify with the attacking force in this situation more so than Ukraine? Even just to have respect for the person that is there representing this country that is fighting back against an overwhelmingly larger force. Notice how he wants to somehow dig around in Lindsey Graham, figure out why the fuck he gives a shit about Ukraine, but he's not interested in why Gaetz and Boebert will throw themselves in front of that bus, because he does it all the time himself. And since he's a hollowed out, empty shell of a human being, then it's just camaraderie, I suppose. He just sees it in them.
Something's going on there.
You think?
But
yes, maybe something's going on in you.
A fact is incredibly reckless and crazy. Take out Putin. Putin's bad. Kill him.
No. He's saying until somebody inside Russia takes him out. He's not saying we do it. And I don't think. Notice how it says. Look at this Chiron. It says, I'll move it up here. Hold on 1 second. Let's look right here. Have somebody in Russia take Putin out. Yeah, that's not what he said. We all just watched what he said. Now, if he said it somewhere else, play that fucking clip. He's saying somebody in Russia, like, this will probably end when somebody else decides they've had enough of this asshole's bullshit and takes him out. Not us, though. But it's interesting that this is the quote, and it's in quotes. This is a lie. This is a specific manipulation of what we just watched. This is propaganda. That's how you would describe it. Let's just listen to it again. Hold on 1 second. Here you go.
How does this war end? When Russia breaks and they take Putin out, anything short of that,
when Russia breaks and they take Putin out,
the war is going to continue. To ask the Ukrainians to give Russia part of their country after all this death and destruction is not going to happen. To signal a ceasefire, Russia will take the opportunity to rearm and come at them again.
By the way, you remember when Lindsey Graham and all the right-wingers were very happy to criticize the fact that Russia took Crimea during the Obama administration, and if somebody as strong as Trump had been there, that never would have fucking happened. But now, once Trump gets in there, like, let them have it. It's theirs. What the fuck is the difference?
So we're in it to win it, and the only way you're going to win it is to break the Russian military and have somebody in Russia take Putin out.
Have somebody in Russia take Putin out.
So it's really hard to overstate how crazy this is. And you don't want to play shrink and
break the Russian military.
Wonder about,
Yeah. So that's the tail end of that. But again, this is the Russians doing this themselves.
What emptiness at the core of Lindsey Graham's personal life causes him to identify so strongly?
That's a slam on him being, a gay confirmed bachelor, and that's, I don't know. When he sucks up to Trump, it's fine, but when he doesn't suck up to Putin, it's wrong.
With a country he's not a citizen of. Something's going on there. But
by the way, I guess Tucker Carlson doesn't give a rat fuck about any country he's not a citizen of. Well, why do you have to go to Hungary and give a speech down there?
A fact is incredibly reckless and crazy. Take out Putin. Putin's bad. Kill him. Fine. What happens then? Well, the world's largest landmass falls into ungovernable chaos. And that country has the world's largest nuclear arsenal. What happens to all those weapons?
Well, they didn't. A large portion of them are dysfunctional, and it would be certainly easier for the rest of the world to move in and get rid of them.
In a country with...
And not let them keep them like they did in the 90s.
A lot of people who hate us. Lindsey Graham has no idea. He doesn't care. He's not interested.
So, again, this is the inversion of mutual assured destruction. Loose nukes, which don't work, are more dangerous than nukes that this asshole might actually use during them, and they currently are, again, threatening Warsaw, threatening Berlin, threatening London, threatening Washington, D.C., openly on the air, and playing clips of him while they do it.
He's not going to be here to find out.
What the fuck does that mean? Is he going to be dead in a year?
And none of the lawmakers who clapped yesterday had any idea either. They're clapping for regime change. They're clapping for an uncertain and incredibly dangerous future. It's not getting the Russian military out of Ukraine. It's much more than that. And they don't want to know more. And you know what they don't care about? You.
No, they don't care about you. They do not care about you at all. That's why they didn't pass an infrastructure bill. And that's why we're still in Afghanistan. And
your health care, your southern border.
Your health care? Your health care? The fuck? You work at Fox News. You guys pathologically don't give a shit about Americans' health care. What he means is Ivor fucking Mectin.
Your children, your schools, your country, they don't care.
Well, then why did they pass a budget that funds the Department of Education? And again, why would they pass an infrastructure bill that gets rid of lead pipes? Why would they expand rural broadband? What are you talking about?
Matt Gaetz is one of the very few members of Congress
who's ever dosed a girl and taken her across state lines with a buddy of his who's pled guilty to sex trafficking, allegedly.
As noted earlier, who didn't...
Oh my God. Somewhere, a big boy is missing their statue.
Follow the rules and stand up and applaud like a seal as the foreign leader in a sweatshirt lectured our country. He joins us now to explain his thought crime. Matt Gaetz, thanks so much for...
His thought crime? What? I guess you can't go to Alex Jones's show anymore. You can't do that.
For coming on. How did you... Now, I'm going
to... How did you actually leave the house looking like that?
You know what? I'm just going to channel Michael Beschloss here. First of all, how dare you? Okay? When a foreign...
Yeah, he didn't actually say that.
Dictator shows up in the Congress on your knees.
He's not a dictator. He's an elected president.
Okay, that's what Americans do.
No, as a matter of fact, that is the opposite of being on your knees. They were all standing. The kind of...
Second, I'm going to ask you, how much do you love Putin that you didn't applaud last night?
Well, let's start with Lindsey Graham.
No, let's start with why you won't answer the question about how much you love Putin.
Graham has no problem sending $100 billion to Ukraine so that we can weigh in on which guy in a sweatsuit gets to rule Crimea. I mean, I feel no compunction to go out and applaud some foreign leader from a historically corrupt country.
Historically corrupt? You mean when the Russians were running it?
Who is begging for more than the $100 billion that the Congress is already set to send them. Now, when President Trump said that America would never be a socialist country, you saw Democrats...
By the way, the speech worked and the budget passed and it worked. It's functional.
Sit on their hands. But when we say you shouldn't send endless amounts of money to this place where we are exacerbating death and conflict.
How are we exacerbating death? Oh, I see. Yeah, we're exacerbating death and conflict because some of the Russians are getting killed while they're killing civilians. And there would be fewer deaths if the Russians were just allowed to go ahead and kill all the civilians in Ukraine. I see. Yeah, there's unnecessary deaths in Ukraine of Russian soldiers.
It's like we're traitors to the movement because Lauren Boebert and I didn't stand up in some sort of North Korea-style performance. And it really makes you wonder, what was all of this for?
Standing in unity with a country that's been attacked. That's what it's for. in its performative nature, it is not only in support of what's being said, which you would, in theory, agree with if you love democracy, but also to show the dictatorial leaders of the world, like Vladimir Putin, like Xi Jinping, like the Iranian mullahs who are supporting the Russian attack on Ukraine, fuck you. It's a middle finger to Russia, and that's why these two didn't stand. That's why Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz didn't stand.
I think that Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi wanted to bring Zelenskyy there to the Congress to provide air cover for an otherwise totally indefensible spending bill. And you could see why Zelenskyy was in for the grift. He's got a lot riding on it. $12.9 billion in this bill to prop up the Ukrainian economy. $300 million.
Yeah, because without that, the grain supply stops and millions of people in Africa die, for example, which is, again, another reason why Tucker Carlson and Matt Gaetz wouldn't give a rat fuck. As a matter of fact, that's of the Russian-Ukrainian war, I would argue they would think that the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Africans would be a feature, not a bug.
For Ukrainian agriculture, another $300 million.
Yeah, CSL, we need to stop defending an emerging democracy and let it die at the hands of the country that wants to destroy us and all democracies. Yeah, brilliant. I agree.
For Ukrainian border patrol, and in the same bill, we are tying the hands of our own border patrol.
No, we're not. No, we're not. They've been pushing this lie a bunch. There was extra money put in specifically to deal with asylum seekers and process them, and that processing money wasn't supposed to be spent on gear. They've got money allocated for gear and in DHS and all this other stuff. They lie and pretend that, like, because you can't take this money and pilfer it and turn it into a slush fund for whatever the fuck Greg Abbott wants to spend it on, that there isn't funding for the other stuff. This is just nonsense.
So Ukraine gets economic development, agriculture, border patrol, and we get racial equity mandates for us here at home. So Washington actually...
Yeah, there's $1.85 trillion worth of racial equity mandates in the budget.
Thinks that they should go to great lengths to keep Ukraine whole, while at the same time funding the balkanization and division within our own country. And I'm not sorry that Lauren Boebert...
The balkanization and division in our country. So is there something in the Omnibus that breaks the South off or separates Florida as a mass?
And I won't stand for it.
Well, you don't stand for anything.
No. And by the way,
no.
I have much more respect for Maxine Waters, who I don't like and vehemently disagree with, because she's a fellow American. We're both citizens. We both grew up here. This guy has nothing to do with our country.
Nothing to do with our country.
Get what he can.
Again, this is the guy who was like sucking up to the Hungarian leadership.
Get it. I'm not even mad at him. I'm mad at the people who instinctively bow before some uppity foreigner.
Uppity foreigner. Jesus Christ. It's like, I don't remember a response, and maybe he did. I don't remember a response to like Trump sucking up to Putin or Kim Jong-un and him going, I don't understand why he wants to shake hands with Kim Jong-un because he thinks he can threaten blowing up Japan and that'll make us come over and kneel down in front of him and eat snacks with him.
Demanding money that we don't have, and
we do have.
Should be absolutely ashamed, and anyone who criticized you for acting like an American should be doubly ashamed in that.
No, I think the question is, I don't think anybody questions that he's acting like an American. The question is why he thinks that's how you act as an American. The other thing is I will say the video is coming to a close. This clip, as they put it online, I did not excise this from the program. I did not take this and go, this will make them look bad. I'll shave this piece off, or shave off a piece at the top that makes the argument that they're putting forward look wonky. They're cutting this off. There's 10 seconds left. I'm guessing, or 14 seconds. I'm guessing that there's not, in the next 14 seconds, he doesn't explain that he does not support Vladimir Putin. Do you think that comes out?
That means you, Michael Beschloss, you craven.
Well, Tucker, at least we found a flag the Democrats were willing to stand for on the floor of the United States Congress. That was a revealing moment.
They did give him an American flag, by the way.
Exactly. I appreciate your coming on. Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. That was the end of the entire segment. That was... Did he ever answer the thing about how he feels about Vladimir Putin? No. He just came on, attacked Zelenskyy, said it was basically un-American to support their fight for freedom, And even when Tucker Carlson jokingly put that question to him about why you support Vladimir Putin, he didn't even entertain giving an answer. Why is that? Why wouldn't you? You don't think it's? Well, I mean, obviously you can't, because it will. The reason you don't stand in those situations is because there's some level of marching orders going on, either from your own clique or a specific slice of your donors or a specific slice of your followers or your own allegiances on a moral and ethical level where you actually think Putin is right in this. And in all of those situations, as a representative of a district in Florida that majority supports the war in Ukraine, he is particular. Like, if he answers honestly, he's fucked. But this will continue. Let me, and I wanted to show you something else, if I may. So the other site that I'm going to have to find this guy. Here you go. So the guy who wrote the piece that that Scott Ritter forwarded, for example, in this, I mean, like I said, he's very angry that, yeah, here it is. This dude is very upset that that the Russian military isn't living up to its promise, and I mean, carpet bombing all of Ukraine and murdering every civilian and wiping them out from the face of the earth. But one of the things there's almost like a quiet part out loud moment that he also has, which is from this little piece right here. This is for adepts of the, quote, U.S. loss to goat herders in Afghanistan. U.S. would not have been able to provide the same amount of assistance to Kiev if it had not decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. That's a quote from Anthony Blinken, or a summary of what he said. P.S. The real purpose of withdrawal for Afghanistan was known long before, though, which is, by the way, this is this Russian dude saying that basically that the reason the U.S. finally got out of Afghanistan, and why arguably Trump didn't allow us to get out while he was president, was because it would give us the ability to push back against Russia's intentions to expand all across Europe. That if we were spending $100 million a fucking day, billions of dollars a year in Afghanistan, we wouldn't be able to support them. We would have the material, like the gear, some of the gear that we're actually giving to Ukraine to use was in Afghanistan in active use. Now, Trump wants everybody to think we left that shit there. It's not there. It's in Ukraine. But it's interesting that this dude is putting this kind of post in there and going, all these folks who think that the Americans just, it was the most embarrassing moment in American history, then it was terrible, and we got run out, and our soldiers surrendered to guys with knives. That shit that Trump's been pushing the whole time. There are pro-Russian, military-minded vloggers who are pissed at people who still buy that bullshit because it is biting them in the ass. If we'd have stayed in Afghanistan, we would not have had the material ability to help in Ukraine as much as we did, because the very gear that we were giving them would have been stuck there. Now, Trump wants people to believe that it's still there, and it ain't. It's in Ukraine. A lot of it is in Ukraine, being used well. I just thought it was fascinating that dude in particular, who, is shitting all over this, the Scott Ritter idea that, Ukraine's going to lose. They're just going to lose. It's a fait accompli. It's a waste of time. And America's dollar's going to crash because of the $100 billion that we're giving to Ukraine that will be paid back and is used largely through Lend-Lease. That's going to ruin the fucking American economy. Dude, if crypto didn't do it, which was somewhere in the order of like $3 trillion of debt, of destroyed wealth in the last 7 months, $100 billion to a democracy isn't going to do it. Jesus. Thank you, the Vinyl Villains. By the way, you do know that I collect and listen to vinyl records, and I got a record player upstairs, and I'm pretty proud of it. And they're like, at some point, I've got to do a sit down and just like show you some of my favorite records. That's going to have to happen. there's so much to cover, and I'm over time. Do I have time at all? I have time to do this. Hold on one second. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will not be doing a radio show tomorrow. We're going to do a best of because I want to give them a day off, and I want to, and Johnny's got a day off and all that kind of stuff. And it's a holiday and the family's around, and I appreciate you guys understanding and your support. Thanks, boss, for giving me the day off. It means a lot. I know I've taken 2 sick days as well, so I'll try and make up with, for it with increased productivity. Don't crack the whip too hard on me. You are my boss, after all. You guys are. Our Patreon supporters are, they're really the executives in charge, I suppose, and our regular Venmo and super chatters and people who give stars and all that kind of stuff. So thanks, boss. I appreciate it. It's nice. I do need a raise. It's true. But I'm good with earning it, taking my time. Organic growth is a real thing, and it has value. And I'd rather have, if I end up at some point, and I will, having 1 million subscribers, I would also like to have, with some regularity, a number of viewers to my videos and my live streams that is close to that number, meaning that these are engaged, real human beings, as opposed to this 1 million subscribers and 20,000 viewers is weird, because I get close to that number of views on mine, and we only have 45K on YouTube by itself. So I love you too, Maggie. Thank you guys so much. And again, appreciate you guys, all the support all year long. It's been lovely. I will be back to sort of regular programming next week. And we'll just have a great time. It'll be a good time. And then, what else? Yeah, that's it. Hi. Oh, come here. My mom will come in and say Merry Christmas. There's the chat room. Everybody say hi. This is my mom.
Hi. Merry Christmas.
Are you hoarse now too? Because
yes.
you cough? Okay. We've all got the gunk and we're getting over it. But so
that's what we got for Christmas.
That's right. We all got the gunk for Christmas. We had early Christmas. So for my mom and me and my kid and my girl and everybody here who's visiting, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks so much. And we'll see you soon. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming.
You need to tell your dad. They wanted to take us out to dinner.
Okay.
But we're eating all that stuff, so tell them just to come over.
Okay, well, we'll work it out. All right, so there's shopping and Christmas and food and snacking that needs to be done, and I'm apparently in charge. So love you guys, and I will see you on Monday. Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks, Muffin. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks so much. I'm gonna raid the major right now, and you guys have a great night. Showing up. He must have just finished. Sorry.